Hot Seat with Wally George debuted on July 16, 1983. It was similar to Wally's other show, The Wally George Show, but featured a studio audience and more obnoxious guests. For a brief period of time, the two similar talk shows run concurrently, but ultimately the crazier Hot Seat wins out. The guests on the first episode are Jack Herrera, a marijuana activist, and Cecil Johnson, a professor and right-wing activist. Johnson is said to argue with a pro-immigration attorney, possibly frequent Hot Seat guest Manuel Lopez. Lopez, in fact, was the guest on the November 5th, 1983 episode, just before one of the most famous incidents in the history of Hot Seat. On that November 5th, 1983 episode, peace activist Blase Bonpane argued briefly with Wally on the U.S. invasion of Grenada, and then in a fit of anger turned over Wally's desk.
Remember that an old Marine told you that you were going to die. You are not coming back from Central America.
Wait a minute.
Alive. You will come back dead. Don't forget it.
Wally.
The Marine Corps told you that. Remember that.
Hey, listen to me.
I don't listen to you. I've heard enough of you already. I'm telling you. I'm telling these young people.
This is my show, and if you don't knock it up, I'm throwing you off personally.
Is that
Now, do you
so?
hear that, Marine buddy?
Yeah. Well, you
All right.
Listen.
Clips of the incident generated widespread publicity for Wally. Other notable guests in 1983 and 1984 include future California Governor Gray Davis, representatives of the American Civil Liberties Union, 60s psychedelic drug advocate Timothy Leary, Religion of Drugs founder Norm LeBeau, later known as the Reverend Bud Green, Charles Franklin McHugh, also known as Lightning Amen, founder of the Christ Family Cult, self-help guru Tony Robbins, K-Rock DJ and KDOC host Richard Blade, actress Edie Williams, Mark Dead and Matt Ferry of the shock rock band The Hags, metal bands Poison and Stryper, future regular Hot Seat guests Tony Fish and Rudy Krause, porn actor and producer William Margold, and gay rights activist Morris Kite. By December 1983, Wally had accumulated enough Hot Seat debates to air a highlight show during the week in addition to his Saturday night show. The growing popularity of Hot Seat presents Wally an opportunity to hold a rally at the Anaheim Hilton in February '84. In April, Wally debuts his call-in show Hot Seat Hotline on KDOC. Executives at Metromedia, a predecessor to the Fox network, took notice of Hot Seat. By early 1984, Wally had a syndication deal with Metromedia and a recurring spot on their new late-night show, Thicke of the Night, starring actor Alan Thicke, who would soon star in the series Growing Pains.
Friends, if I can call you that, I don't want y'all to be my friends because some of you are just slime balls. And I don't want y'all to be my friends, not if you don't believe in God, in countryhood, in motherhood, in apple piehood, and everything I say. This is an editorial rebuttal.
Wally's popularity continues to grow in 1984, with multiple newspaper articles, TV news segments, an appearance on Phil Donahue's national talk show, and a profile in People magazine. Wally generally enjoyed the attention, like this LA Times article by Herman Wong. But another LA Times writer, Howard Rosenberg, was a frequent target of Wally's attacks.
Right here.
Now, gotta thank, now you know what, I have been screaming at one paper who really was pretty dirty to me, but I want to now thank the Los Angeles Times. Herman Wong did a terrific article, and I'll show it here right in front. Terrific article, 3 pages in the LA Times. Let's hear it for the LA Times and Herman Wong. And also, I want to thank Howard Rosenberg, who was the TV critic of the Times, who I often call a moron. I want to thank him for devoting his whole column to me. I no longer call Howard a moron. Now he's just a jerk, okay?
The paper that Wally felt did him dirty was the Los Angeles Herald Examiner. Around early April 1984, the Herald Examiner printed an article saying that Wally had far more marriages and children than he admitted to. The article seems to have portrayed a contrast between Wally's strong advocacy of conservative family values and his behavior as a father and husband. The article even claimed that by not finalizing his first 2 divorces, he was married to 3 women at the same time in 1961. If you know where I can find this Herald Examiner article, leave a comment. Wally responded that he had divorced Kaminga in Texas, and he was in the process of getting an annulment when he married for the 3rd time. He also denied having abandoned his children. He said that the Herald Examiner article was a net positive because he reunited with his children in Guam, and the publicity improved his ratings. While the Herald Examiner article put a spotlight on Wally's children in Guam, most media coverage of Wally's relationship with his children focused on his most famous child. About 3 weeks after the premiere of Hot Seat, Risky Business starring Rebecca De Mornay premieres. The movie turns Rebecca into a movie star. Wally and Rebecca see their stars rise at the same time. In the E! True Hollywood Story, Wally states that he supported Rebecca financially and helped launch her acting career. But their relationship would become strained in the coming years, with Rebecca rarely talking to Wally. Wally claimed that this had to do with him hosting a conservative talk show, having a wife younger than Rebecca, and having another daughter.
My daughter and I are not on the best of terms. Unfortunately, my daughter has become kind of liberal. But I think she's soon going to find out that her father can have different thoughts than she can, and she can still talk to her father, right?
Rebecca has said that Wally wasn't part of her life growing up, and that she didn't want to be associated with his career. In May 1984, another physical confrontation on Hot Seat generates news headlines. Wally hosts a debate between former Ku Klux Klan leader Tom Metzger and Irv Rubin of the Jewish Defense League. Not surprisingly, the debate got so intense that a physical confrontation ensued.
Oh, you're such a punk. You're such a punk. You're such a punk. Don't you ever call parasites. Don't you ever call parasites.
KABC Channel 7 led their 11 o'clock news with the story of the incident and was criticized in the LA Times for doing so. All this publicity leads to interest in other markets as the show is picked up in Sacramento, San Francisco, New Mexico, and Guam. The show was quickly canceled in San Francisco, but Wally still gets booked to appear on a Bay Area talk show after the cancellation. Thicke of the Night was also canceled in the summer of 1984, and Wally's deal with Metromedia soon ended. It appears that Wally is off most TV stations outside Southern California, though New Mexico continues to air his show. Toward the end of 1984, Wally releases a 4-song EP on Rhino Records. The EP includes the song Wally Wally, a takeoff on the song Louie Louie, popularized by the Kingsmen. The EP makes its radio debut on Mike Harrison's show on KMET. Harrison had previously appeared on Hot Seat, and Wally had previously appeared on Harrison's show. In Wally's previous appearance on Harrison's show, sound effects were used to make it sound like a fight had broken out in the studio, and some listeners were concerned. Also in late 1984, Wally looks to start a new TV show where he officiates personal disputes. This new show was likely inspired by Wally's appearance on People's Court. Wally was sued by an attorney who appeared on Hot Seat and wanted compensation for that appearance. Judge Wapner sided with Wally. But Wapner constantly had to remind Wally to stop interrupting, and it wasn't his show. This concludes Part 5 of the Wally George Bio. If you have any additional details or corrections, please leave a comment.